Pleasure to meet you. I wish I would have gotten the note about wearing black. I feel, it's close, but it's not the same.
It's dark and charcoal. And I
Yeah,
quote Ted
yeah.
Lasso.
It's a, all right. Are you all ready to go?
Yeah.
All right.
Excellent.
Perfect.
If you don't mind, we try to make you that we see you.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Okay.
yes.
I
Brilliant.
mean,
We
you don't
can.
have to see me. I'm not anything special to look at. So
Yeah,
don't
but
worry.
we
No,
just want
but
to
we don't
see
want.
our
We just don't want to look
faces
at ourselves.
with sweet chickens on a.
On a
You
board.
look like the best like progressive rock band or like Euro rock band I've
Yeah,
ever
yeah,
seen. So I'm
yeah.
excited. I'm excited to hear your new hits.
We're techno. We're techno.
Hey everyone, it's David Stark from Watch Your Pass. Today I'm talking to Ben Chaplin, Leonie Benesch, and Tim Fehlbaum about September 5th, which is coming to DC theaters on December 6th, 2024, and nationwide on December 13th, 2024. I'm going to talk to them right now, and while you're watching, if you can like, subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. I'll spend a lot. Thank you. So, thanks so much for joining me today. I've got Ben Chaplin, Leonie Benesch, and Tim Fehlbaum talking about September 5th, which is coming to DC area theaters on December 6th, 2024, and then nationwide on December 13th, 2024. It tells the story of this horrible incident that happened at the 1972 Olympics from a very unique perspective. It has a fantastic cast, really great like sets and feel, and also this sense of tension that is unique because you don't actually see the events. You just kind of see the news reporting about it. I love this film. I thought it was fantastic. I was holding my breath through most of it, even though I kind of knew it was going to happen. But it is just such an amazing experience. So thanks so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank
By the
you.
way, I thought that was a brilliant synopsis you gave
Yeah.
of the movie.
Thank you. Well, I'm a professional, I guess. So, so the first question is for Tim. You co-wrote this story. What made you want to tell this tale and tell it from like this perspective?
Yeah, as you said, the angle was something that I was very much interested in. We had researched a lot on what happened on that day in Munich. We even had access to the police files that weren't made accessible for the public before. And then we more and more learned on what important role the media played on that day. And then we had a conversation, like a Zoom conversation that we are having here right now with Jeffrey Mason, the character that Joe Magaro plays, and listening to his stories and what they experienced and that during this 22-hour marathon of broadcasting, this sparked the idea in us of telling the story entirely through that perspective, because we then more and more realized on how important, especially from today's point of view, most a lot of these questions are that they on and challenges that they faced in the control room back then.
For sure. Hopefully your Zoom conversation didn't have as many technical problems as the movie. You know, you didn't have to like send over tapes and things like that. You didn't have like satellites cut out. It was hopefully seamless, right?
That was from a technical point of view a seamless Zoom conversation.
Excellent.
I
Um,
remember well.
Yes.
and Ben and Leonie, what made you kind of want to get into this film? What appealed to you about the story? And I guess we'll start with Leonie first.
Well, as an actor, you're always looking for a really good script, and it is surprisingly rare to come across one. So when you've got one, you know it, and yeah, it was you could immediately tell that Tim and Moritz Binder, your co-writer, had done their homework. It was a thrilling read. When I was told before that it was going to be about Munich 72, I was a bit hesitant because, that's been done. But this particular angle, as you guys just discuss, is just really fascinating to me. And also, I loved that Marianne Gebhardt, because she wasn't a real character. She's an amalgamation of several people you guys came across in your research. I love that she's a little, feminist nod in that very male-dominated world, but she doesn't feel shoehorned in to me. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah, no, she definitely kind of pushes the boundaries, but she does so like from almost a practical perspective. Like she knows how valuable she is, and so she's like, "You need me here," like, and
Yeah.
and I'm going to participate.
Yeah.
Exactly. And Ben, what about you? What appealed to you about this story?
Everything. I mean, not the tragedy itself, but I'm a sports fan. I love the Olympics. I love television, and as Leonie said, the script was unusually good. It was from a unique angle, something I wasn't aware of. I wasn't aware that the footage that I'd seen of the Munich 72 crisis was shot by Sports Network, you know. So that in itself I found a bit something that you know should be obvious but hadn't even occurred to me. And the real people involved in it were people that I found Marvin Bader to be somebody that I related to, a sort of person that I admire. And the cast, it was, you know, it was a bit of, it was, I don't like the expression because it's a shortcut, but it was a bit of a no-brainer, you know, for me anyway. I needed to do this job. And once I had a chat with Tim, he was so passionate about it, so committed, so knowledgeable that infectious. You know, you contagious, but it's a better word than infectious, isn't it? That is, yeah, I couldn't wait to do it.
Contagious, infectious, whatever, it gets into you and makes you kind of want to make this
Yeah,
project.
he was like that throughout. He led us that way.
That's awesome. One thing that kind of struck me about this film, well, the events obviously, they're tragic, they're kind of, world changing. But for me, like the way that news in our world has changed was kind of sad. Like I was mourning a time when, like, Ben, your character was like, "Hey, we have this fact. Have we checked it? Are we sure the source is verifiable? Like, can we report that if we're not certain?" And I was like, "Oh my God, like, yeah, there was a time when like news mattered and people cared about reporting the truth." That was something that kind of sadly struck me about this whole story.
Yeah.
I see what you mean. I want to add though that I've spoken to a lot of people that worked in news and that have seen the movie or that were Berater, what's Berater? Consultants on when we were researching and stuff. I think I wouldn't agree that this discussion is off the table. I think this is one of the basic discussions that they're still having every day. Is this confirmed? Do we have two sources? That's one of the most like the most basic
Crucial
discussions, yeah, of live television, I would say. And I think just because in our case they're discussing this also because, as you said, it's a sports crew, right? So they weren't briefed on how to report on a crisis like this. But I just want to say that in a way, I think while obviously the technology is different, right? And also the way we consume news, I guess the discussions that they had about these moral questions about, as you said, like second source and stuff, they are probably still in a way very similar today.
Does that depend on
on the responsible sources though,
Yeah.
right? I mean, like
Yeah,
there's just so many disreputable peddlers out there. Yeah, that's I'm like you. The first time I saw it, I found something, aside from the tragedy, but more from the film's perspective, the journalistic side. I found it like almost a lament. Like I was sad for that time and that innocent desire to do the right thing seeming like a thing of the past.
Yeah, exactly. And also, Leon, your character, the sense of national pride and the sense of like your country failing in this incident also kind of strikes at this time as well. It feels like, maybe some nations are not living up to what they should be doing. So there's a lot of parallels in our world today that, are evident in this movie. I guess sadly, it seems like not a lot has, a lot has changed since then, but some things are still the same.
Yeah.
So, I know we're running short on time. I know you're very busy. One last lighthearted question. I wanted to have a lighthearted question for this very serious subject. If all of you were in the Olympics, what would your event be? What do you think you could do best in? And I guess we'll start with you, Ben, because you're first. As I'm going over.
I was an 800-meter champion at school, so 800 meters for me. 1500, tiny bit too long, but I would have tried to compete. But 800 meters, yeah.
Perfect. What about you, Tim?
I would be in the control room.
Yeah, trading. We're running out of film, and he hasn't finished yet.
Everything. Gold medal for production. There we go. What about you, Leonie?
Well, I was in the circus when I was a kid, and I was obsessed with acrobatics. So probably something along.
Pole vault.
I loved the trapeze, and I did tightrope walking. But so maybe something along those lines.
You walked on tightrope.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I got news for you. When is LA Olympics? Like you can soon start
trading now.
Yeah. Please.
I only walked a tightrope in the past, and your character walked a tightrope in this film as well. So you can see You can see all of that. You can see this unique perspective and this like wonderful, moving, poignant, tragic at sometimes film. September 5th, it's coming to DC theaters on September 6th, 2024, and nationwide on December 13th, 2024. This is Ben Chaplin, Leonie Benesch, and Tim Fehlbaum. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Thanks.
That was Ben Chaplin, Leonie Benesch, and Tim Fehlbaum talking about September 5th, which is coming to DC theaters on December 6th, 2024, and nationwide on December 13th, 2024. It tells the story of a horrible incident at the 1972 Olympics, but from a very different perspective. It has a fantastic cast, a really wonderful setting, and this kind of unique sense of tension. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.